was moving.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that God removed me from that all that shit.
Were you heartbroken when you realized everyone doesn't live by the code?
Definitely. I think that the streets is an illusion. I mean, it don't matter how much you say this shit, they just gonna have to live it. That's why I don't be feeling bad for some of these kids. It be fucked up. One of my mans, he got 50 years. And I was in adolescence. You know how many children don't know the severity of their crimes? Till the gavel hits the table and they be like, yo, you got 50 years. Your release date is in 2050.
Wow.
And then they start doing the math, because a lot of these kids are illiterate, right? But we know math to a certain extent, right? And then you start doing the math, you be like, yo, we on 2020. What?
Yeah.
That's when it really sets in.
2070? Sheesh. Yeah.
That's when they really, I used to be in adolescence. All we cared about was going to the gym. All we cared about was entertainment. Dudes fight for entertainment. All we cared about was going to the gym, maybe working out. We had the hopes of going home, right? So as long as you got the hope of going home, keep going, you keep going in your court days, you got that hope. You hopeful.
Yeah.
They might, somebody might stop telling my lawyer, they might find a loophole. You're hopeful. That's what keeps you working now. So as soon as I get home, the girl's gonna be on me. You know what I'm saying? You hear the stories about the dudes go locked up, come home swollen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you just think about the girls. You doing your push-ups. You think
you're
hopeful, bro. You're hopeful till you get 40.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no more hope.
Ain't no more hope.
Now you praying on an appeal and you don't even got the money for that.
Yeah, there's no slinging hope. There's no hope being slain. At all.
It's over. So a lot of these kids, these teenagers that get locked up, and I love working in the juvenile facilities with the juveniles. That's also some of the work I do. But I do programs. I ain't no CO or nothing.
Yeah.
So I do programs with them. And some of these dudes, man, they was in there for homicides, and they're just like, they don't even know the severity of that shit. They just like, I can't wait to get, because they raised the age limit. So a lot of them, instead of going to Rikers Island, they're going to like Horizons or Crossroads.
Yeah, Spofford.
Yeah, so a lot of them, it's like, I can't wait to get to the island. I want to, they want to sign out to go try to prove something.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, it's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
Like, just because you blood or just because you whatever, like, you're going to be under the jurisdiction of who got the jail. Who got the building? Who got this? Who got that? And then if your blood set is beefing with another set, like, bro, it's not what you think it is. But that's how dudes want to get these stripes.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes would tell dudes, yo, you better get out of there. Like gang members, they would tell young gang members, they'd be like, get out of that kiddie shit and go to the adults, because that's how they earn their stripes.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, a lot of dudes, I was in there with a lot of dudes that didn't realize the severity of their crimes because we was too busy playing basketball, going to the gym, being hopeful about going home, or watching movies most of the time, or playing Skelly, or playing whatever we was playing in there, bro. Dudes look at it like boot camp, bro. And then until you realize, bro, you got 50.
Yeah.
And you be like, all the hope of going home, all the hope of whatever, and then you start realizing like, damn. And if you're a smart person, you will reflect. Most people don't reflect. Most people just hear 50 and then they just, especially if they gangbanging, they just take their shit out on other people. They go a whole bit of just starting fights, asking to get killed. That's there's a lot of people like that in the street, right? They asking to die.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens in prison. There's a lot of dudes asking somebody to put them out their misery.
Yeah.
I heard the story about this dude. My mans was telling me, I was locked up around the same time. We was just in different jails. It was this one dude, he had a life sentence. He had like 25 years in New York. And then after that, he was going to be extradited down south. And he had like a life sentence waiting for him. And they had the death penalty, I think. I think he had like 2 bodies in one of them states with the death penalty.
Yeah.
So he knew he was gone. This dude turned Crip. Because he hated Bloods, right? And he was they just say he was a vicious dude. Like, but in reality, he was asking to die. He ended up getting killed. And I heard it was accidental. He fell on his own knife. But he was vicious. And I think people from the outside, we just look at it like, damn, that dude is courageous. He tough. But it's like, yo, the dude was done for. Yeah. He was done for. He was asking to die, bro. Yeah. And there's a lot of kids and other men running around here with none to live. With none asking to die.
So somebody snitches in the set. It causes a division in the set. Now you guys are all separated. So how do things take a turn for you where your situation happened?
Well, that was my situation. My situation was split the set.
Yeah. So he snitched on you, or he snitched on somebody else.
Mans, but all that shit happened like in 10 days.
Yeah.
So he told on my friend, and then he came out a week later, and then I caught up with him and I shot him.
Why did you tell your friend?
He told about a gun, about a firearm that that we went to purchase, and I had it and I gave it to him. So I was there when they got locked up. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up giving it to the dude that
Ratatouille.
Yeah, Ratatouille. You know?
Yeah.
So I ended up giving it to him. He walks down the block and he got like the you know, back then they used to have the you know, the TNT Tuesdays and Thursdays. They used to just plain clothes police hopping out of vans, all type of cars, unmarked cars. So this is what happened this day in our neighborhood. They have, and I told them the hood was hot because earlier, before we even went and got the gun, I seen them just randomly pulling people over in cars. Like they was just, you know, you remember those days. Just wilding.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. They kind of like hopped out on them. One of the stories I heard, he tried to tell the little homie, because this is another thing that gangs do. They recruit young people for collateral damage, right? They tell them, yo, you the little homie. Like, you only gonna get probation for this. You're only gonna get this for this. Like, you know, me on the other hand, I'm gonna get, you know, I'm an adult, so I'm gonna get whatever, right? So they just use these kids to get them crimes. So he tried to get them charges or whatever. So the little homie, my other man, he said that he basically told him, yo, like, hold the gun down. Like, you the little homie. And my man was like, fuck out of here. Like, because my man also had open cases. You feel me?
Yeah.
So he was like, fuck out of here. Like, nah. So allegedly, the gun was not recovered on anybody. Like, he tossed it on the floor. When the cops came, you know, they lock everybody up around the gun.
Yeah.
And the story is when they didn't catch it, when the police don't catch it on nobody, everybody's gonna get hit with the possession of the firearm.
Yes.
Until the fingerprints or the information comes back from the lab, right?
Yeah.
So, but when my man's got processed initially, only my other man's got hit with the gun charge, not this dude.
Yeah.
And when they got separated, my man's told me that after they separated them, the cop came back and told them, "Oh, your man's beat you to it." He was like, "What you mean?" He said, "It's your gun." So cops do lie, but the whole thing is, why is my man's the only one being processed with the gun when it wasn't on him?
Yeah.
The only fingerprints on the gun is mine and his, because I gave it to him. And when I went down the block, another kid told me that he seen Ratatouille with the gun before the police hopped out on him.
Yeah.
So it just made sense. I'm not a rocket scientist. A lot of people try to say there was no paperwork, that there was no this, no that. So he didn't tell. Like, I just know. To me, I don't believe that shit. There's no way that you didn't get processed with the criminal possession of a weapon. Just like my man's. If that's what the police say. I know how the law work. A lot of these dudes don't know how the penal law work, bro.
Yeah.
So a lot of dudes just get into ain't no black and white, bro. Anyway, so that's what happened. I told everybody that that's what it was. He a rat. People was like, oh, you're making some strong accusations. And the dude was, you know, he was a street dude. Yeah. So anyway, what he ended up doing was he told somebody he was going to deal with me that when he came home. You know, they usually try to make, you know.
Send the message.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So he got out. And when he got out, he came to my house. And then he went to my other man's house and he told my man's that he just came from looking for me, that he was looking for me to deal with me. I'm just like, all right. So what ended up happening is I just ended up catching him. And I just felt like it had to be done. Like it was just business, not personal.
Yeah.
I just felt like I told my other man's if Ratatouille had called me and told me you told, I would have hit you up. Some people say I didn't follow protocol, that nobody gave me the okay, and that was the problem. I don't think that was the problem, because even when the truth came out that this dude told on me, nobody did nothing to him.
Yeah.
I remember hearing stories that this dude came to the park where we used to hang out and he told them, yeah, I told on him. What's up? Nobody did nothing. Right? And I was devastated. I was just like, wow. I remember giving the paperwork out to other Crips. And I remember my lawyer hitting me up and saying, who the fuck you giving the paperwork to? And I was like, what are you talking about? You know, I tried to deny it. And my lawyer was like, stop playing with me. She said, the DA has a copy of the paperwork that you've been giving people, which means somebody I gave that shit to gave it back to him. I said to him, gave it back to Ratatouille. Mm-hmm. How? I gave you paperwork of a rat and you gave the paperwork to him. Mm-hmm. And what he did was he gave it to the DA. Mm-hmm. Do you know what hot seat I was in?
Yeah.
The DA tried to have a closed trial to let nobody come to my trial. Only family. Because of that. The DA just kept forcing shit because they gang members. It's a gang situation. It's a gang case. It's a gang. So she just went mad hard, bro. She went mad hard, like, to try to, like, protect her snitch.
Yeah.
Behind me trusting that once these people had the paperwork, they're gonna do something. And they ain't do shit, bro. That's when I realized shit is bullshit, bro.
Crip shit is bullshit.
All that gang shit is bullshit.
All the gang shit.
All the gang shit is bullshit.
Yeah.
Some people will try to justify, oh, it's just your set. Nah, bro. I done met plenty of gang members from coast to coast that could mention some fucked up foul shit that their gangs have done to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So when'd you shoot him?
What you mean when?
Like, do you remember that day? Like,
the day, yeah.
You said you caught him.
The day, yeah, he came out. And I remember, like, he came to my house. I remember I was home, but I ain't had my firearm. Because there was some blood telling on us too. So I remember my friend's house got raided, and the reason why his house got raided was because the police. He was on probation, so it was easy to get a search warrant to search him. He was already in the system.
Yeah,
I was never in the system, but he told me when the police searched his house that they told him, "We know about your friend, the Spanish one. Mind you, ain't no other Spanish one."
Yeah,
you feel me? There was like the Spanish one. We know you hang out with the Spanish dude. My other mans used to have a A-ball jacket. They was like, we know y'all be having the gun. Like it's crazy how police be knowing shit and they'll just wait, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy how when they come with these indictments, they be like, we was investigating y'all for 7 years.
They give you enough rope to hang yourself.
And in my neighborhood, they did an indictment, not to go off topic.
Yeah.
They was watching it for like 7 years. And in 7 years, you watch a few people die.
Yeah.
So you already knew what was going on. They just foul, bro. But anyway, so they came to my mans and they told them, we know you and the Spanish dude and the dude with the A-ball jacket. Mm-hmm. And they mentioned another dude that had an open gun case. They was like, we know what y'all be doing.
Yeah.
We know y'all be having a gun. We know y'all be doing this. Your man with the A-ball jacket be having, it was just so crazy, right? And then they said the Spanish dude. So the fact that they said the Spanish dude, I felt like, he was like, bro, you the only Spanish dude that I hang out with. But he's stupid. He ran straight to my house after they raided his house. Mm-hmm. I said, bro, what if they followed you? I said, bro, what did they? He said, bro, I was just so scared, like, cause I ain't gonna lie, I had like a few guns in my house, boxes, shells, all type of shit. My house was the headquarters. Yeah, you feel me? So I had mad shit in my house.
Your mother's house was the headquarters.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it was.
Damn, your mother's house was the headquarters.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, so I had mad shit in my house. So he ran to my house, and I'm like, bro, you fucking like I remember I was just wilding on him. I'm like, you fucking stupid, bro. So now we got to get the shit out of my house. So I'm like, bro, now what if we just come out with the guns? We got to walk these shits. And they bust us, bro. Boxer shell, bang, bang, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, bro, you fucking dumb. He said, nigga, I was trying to look out for you. I'm like, yeah, and then trying to look out for me, you fucked me up. Like, so I was just like, I remember that day we even had a girl in the house. It was just so crazy because I was out patrolling. I left some of my homeboys in the house. I'm outside. I bump into him. I had just came upstairs. We got a girl in the house. And because my mans and them, they asked if they could use my room, whatever. So I let them rock, whatever. And then, like, he comes banging on the door. So, like, the girl is in my bed, because I had 2 beds. So the girl is in the bed just chilling. And then, like, in a matter of seconds, it's just like, yo, you got to put your shit on. Like, we. She like, what the hell's going on? Like, and we just like nothing. Like, we just, we just moving mad fast. Like, it was just so crazy, man. So we taking the guns. So what ended up happening, one of my other friends, he held my gun. So he was able to hold my gun. He was like, I didn't want to give him too much. So he was just like, I told him like, yo, bro, like, and I didn't know this dude. And I respect him because he kept my gun. He didn't sell it. He didn't do nothing foul. And I just met this dude. He had just moved into the projects. And I was like, yo, bro, like, the boys just raided my man's crib. Like, all we used to do was smoke. He just used to buy weed from me. We used to smoke. And I was like, yo, bro, I'm in the tight space. He was just like, what's up, what you need? And I was like, yo, bro, I it was too much to ask. Like, he can hold my gun. Like, you feel me? Like, he was just like, I fuck with you, bro. He was like, yo, just whatever you gonna bring, don't tell me what you bringing. Just put it in a book bag. I don't know what's in there, and I'm gonna just put it in my work closet, and nobody goes in there. So I was like, all right. So I took my shit, put my shit, and I think I put the box of shells, and then I just kept another one to just keep it around. Like, so when this dude got out, because I told you a lot of shit was happening around this time. So when the dude got out, I was calling my mans. Because he had my shit. I didn't have my shit. My mind was already made up. So it was no conversation. It was. So
you knew you were going to shoot him?
Yeah. And that was the plan, right? Like, so I was just like, it was no conversation. It was none of that. Like, snitches gotta die. Like, you feel me?
And that's how you felt at the time?
Yeah. I still feel that way.
Yeah.
If you playing the game, like.
Yeah. Well, if you're playing the game, snitches die.
Hang him.
Hanging him.
You know what I'm saying?
Shoot him.
Yeah. Do whatever you gotta do. Torture them. Whatever you gotta do to them.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So because you chose to play the game, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can't play basketball and complain about the refs.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? You can't complain about tearing your Achilles. That's just shit that comes with the game.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was calling my mans wasn't picking up, whatever. So I couldn't even do what I needed to do. But then along that, it's another thing. Is some of the stories I leave out because I want to put them in my book.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, I had to end up doing it. So that's just kind of like how it went.
So where'd you see him? How'd you see him? Like you just bumped into him?
So what happened was, it was, people play the people play both sides.
Yeah.
People be like, oh, word. Like people was acting like they was talking to him, like, oh, word, you seen, oh, you looking for them? And then they would tell us. So a lot of people, what they did was they tried to play the middle. They didn't want to be in the crossfire.
Yeah.
Because the moment I know you signing with him, you're going to get it too. You feel
Yeah.
me? So a lot of people play neutral. They was like, yo, that's y'all beef.
Yeah.
Mind you, we all Crip. So this is, I'm looking at all of these dudes playing that ain't got nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm looking at these dudes like, wow. Like I seen how when pressure came, mind you, when other pressure came with Bloods and a whole bunch of shit, it was, but I ain't gonna lie, the Crips that we was running with, they've been doing this shit. Mind you, it was this one block. Everybody knows about 216. It was this one block that they held down for a long time, right? So that you had to be ruthless in a certain way.
Yeah.
So when it came to that, a lot of dudes did not want to get caught up in the crossfire because it was gonna be bloody, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people did what was best for them, what most people do. I just feel like it was fucked up because we were supposed to go by the code.
Yeah.
So when I end up catching them, I somebody had gave us a call like, yo, we seen him. So when we got the call, we just happened to bump into him, honestly. Nobody told us, oh, he's at this location. It was just like, yo, we seen him in the area. And it was like, all right, cool. So we was just happened to be walking and we just bumped into him. It was crazy. Everything was meant to happen the way it happened, bro.
Yeah.
We just happened to bump into him. And when we bumped into him, it was like, oh shit. Like, and then like he was trying to talk, but it was nothing where there was no conversation.
So you was close to him. You was face to face with him.
We was close. I actually was behind him. I don't even think he really knew who shot him. I think he was told. He was told who shot him. Because when I shot him, he was kind of like turning.
Yeah.
Saying like, I just, what I'm saying. And again, like I don't talk about this shit to be on some like glorifying this shit, you know what I'm saying? It's just something that happened. But I just felt like in a moment, I felt like that's what needed to be done. Not just for my safety, because it was already blown out of proportion. And something was gonna happen to somebody. It was just me, it was other people there. So it was just out of the safety of a lot of people. Also the fact that I felt like you told, it had to be done. And under the street codes and the law, like I just felt like it was business. It was non-personal.
Yeah. So then, how many years were you facing? How many years did you do? So when I got locked up, I was facing attempt murder in the second, which is a B felony. And if you blow trial, you can get up to 25 years. As soon as I got locked up, they was offering me like 10 years, 10 years of trial. For 25 months, they offered me that, 10 years of trial. They was like, we're not coming down, take 10 years. And I was like, damn, even though the penal code says like a first time offender, I was a teenager, like says whatever, 2 to 6 and blah, blah, blah. They ain't care. It was like 10 years. It was like, there's no way you wasn't trying to kill this dude, blah, 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 because he got shot in the face. Yeah. So they was trying to like, they was just trying to railroad me. Yeah. And it's like, and then you start to see like nobody really wins, bro. Yeah. So I remember they came down to 6 years, but they wanted to give me 5 years parole. And I was just like, no, I really wanted to go to trial. What really happened was this. I picked jurors and everything. And I remember the DA has to present everything that they're going to present at trial. So the DA has to tell the defense, like, all right, this is what we're going to present. So they was like, all right, we're going to present the victim, because he was testifying the whole time. So he snitched again?
He kept snitching. He kept going. Even though he was telling people in the hood, tell him to go to trial, I'm not going to come. He kept going, right? I won one of my hearings, an identification hearing, which usually, because my lawyer argued that he was sedated at the hospital when he told the first time. So how do we know he wasn't coerced and the police was like, this is the dude? So we won that hearing, and they was like, okay, so he had to come again and identify me. All he had to do was say at that hearing, it wasn't me, and I would have went home. That's all he had to do.
He said it was him right there.
Yo, bro, it was crazy, bro. He gave so much information about me, even information that didn't have to do with the case. Yeah. He told them about another firearm that I had. Mm-hmm. He told them that I had it in my stereo, and that how I used to withdraw and deposit the gun. How I used to take the side of my stereo off. He told him what kind of gun it was. Bro, this dude was he was just trying to like railroad.
Yeah.
They went to my house.
And because that's your mom's house was the headquarters.
You know what I'm saying? They went to my house, broke my stereo. They found bullets in there, right? Mm-hmm. The gun was not there. You know what I'm saying? I moved out,
Your mom works like 24/7 or the fuck? Like
moms don't be knowing.
It was T.I., yo.
You know how it is, bro. Moms, a lot of these women get on the news and be like, my son was a saint. They don't be knowing shit, bro.
Yeah.
They don't be knowing shit their kids be doing out here. In the house, you one way, and when you leave, they're a whole different way. Some of these dudes, their mom know what the fuck they doing, because they disrespectful in the house. They curse at them.
So what about your mom?
My mom, she didn't know shit. My mom didn't know I was in the gang. I remember, I didn't get locked up right away, so I remember when I told my mom, we gotta go, because dudes started calling me, sending death threats. It was like, what, you out of your mom? They said, yo, you know it's not safe for you and your mom, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, why would you call me and threaten me? Like, did you not see I just shot somebody?
Yeah.
Like, why would you give me a heads up that you coming after me? They was bold. They was some bold ass motherfuckers, right?
Yeah. And these are Crips.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, it's not safe for you and your mom. And I was just like, what? All right. So I'm just like, gotta get more guns. So I'm putting certain people on, but then I had to tell my mom, like, yo, we gotta go. So I had my mom when I told all this information to my mom, it came so fast. She didn't know what the fuck was going on. She was trying to figure out, she was so caught up. I told her, look, I got into some shit. This dude was trying to do some shit to me. I ended up shooting him. She just so in shock in the moment. She's just like, she got 1,000 questions. Like, when did you join the gang? Where did you get a gun? Where did you shoot this guy? Did he live? She just got so many questions, you feel me?
Yeah.
And she's just like looking at me. I remember the look, like I'll never forget it. Like she looked at me like I have been like some whole stranger living in her house.
Yeah.
And she was
Which
just like,
you technically kind of were.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was just like, where did you get a gun and where did this? And I was just like, Mom, we passed that.
Yeah.
We need an emergency transfer. You know what I'm saying? Like, and she was just kind of like still dumbfounded by it. And yeah, so I had her on like a program of like, yo, when you get off of work, call me. Like, call me when you first get to the building. Like, I show her how certain people look that I have problems with. Also, some people didn't knock on my door. So if somebody knocked on my door, I knew it was, people used to like bang on my wall. They never knocked on my door. So somebody knocked on my door, I already knew what's up.
Yeah.
So I had kind of like a program to kind of like try to protect my mom.
But this is all in a matter of like 10 days.
Yeah, this is all in a matter of 10 days.
Yeah, bro. I mean, how do you feel about what you put your mom through?
Yeah, it was fucked up, man. I put her in danger. Like, my mother always used to tell me, like, I'm not gonna lose my apartment for your stupid shit. Like, you know, she didn't know what I was doing, but I used to cut school and she used to see me hanging out with people, but it never occurred to her, like, I was in the streets.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like chasing dudes, like guns, like committing crimes, like doing like shit, trying to take people's lives. She never fathomed that I was doing that.
Yeah.
Fathom.
Yeah.
I said phantom.
So then, now we're in Rikers.
Yeah.
The fuck was that like?
Yeah, Rikers Island was, you know, it was a gladiator school, man. It was the place where boys become men. And I think jail is a ways of passage for black men in the hood anyway. A lot of dudes be looking forward to going to jail. Like, I can't wait to shit. If I was in the island, nobody taking my comments.
Yeah,
like,
the whole hood card.
I used to hear dudes say that. Like, if I was in jail, I ain't watching nobody's shit. I used to be like, yo, do you want to go to jail? The crazy thing is, the week before I got locked up, I had a meeting and I told them, like, I'm gonna go to jail for this. Like, it was supposed to be like a motivational speech.
Yeah.
Some.
You had a meeting with the Insanes.
Yeah, because my set, when we was coming up, I was the youngest at first, so I never hung out with the older dudes. I just felt like we didn't have shit in common. So what I did was, I started hanging out in my own little area, and one of the dudes, what I ended up doing was I ended up recruiting dudes. So then by the time this shit happened, we had a little crew of young dudes that were insane.
Mm-hmm.
But that's who I used to hang out with. I never really hung out with the old dudes. We used to come through, chill, pay homage or whatever, but then most of the time we was doing our own thing. So we wasn't really around it.
Yeah.
So that's who I was having a meeting with, the young people. So I told them, like, yo, this is what happened. These dudes are locked up. This dude said, this dude told. My man's called from jail, and he was on the speaker, and he was talking to us, and you know, from that was the moment where we were like, all right, it's lit.
Yeah.
We're gonna do what we're gonna do. This before the shooting. But I remember telling them, like, I ain't afraid to go to jail for this shit. Like, and I said to them, I know I'm gonna go to jail for this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, I kind of like spoke that shit into existence. And that's kind of like what happened. So now I'm here, and it was just like I was Crip. And then I remember my mans and them coming to see me and saying that. And I used to read the Bible when I first got there. Like I knew I was in trouble. I knew I was fucked up. So I started. Well, I was on my religious shit. Like reading the Bible. I wasn't Muslim yet.
Was it the Bible or the Quran?
No, I was Christian. I grew up Christian.
Yeah.
So I was reading the Bible.
Yeah.
When I initially got there. I was still Crip. I was reading the Bible though. Like I got a little pocket Bible and I was reading it all the time. When you get into distress, that's when you start kind of like calling on God,
Yeah.
And so, I was like, man, I'm in trouble. I need God. I
Yeah.
need God help, like, so what happened was, I remember I had a double visit with me and my mans that was locked up because my mans that got told on first, he was still locked up. You know what I'm saying? It was like 10 days later. So we both locked up now.
Yeah.
Behind the same dude. Right? So it was like, yo, this shit is crazy. So they came to see us. And when the homeboys came to see us, they told us like, yo, old niggas said we not Crip no more. So I was like, so I remember asking my mans, and what the fuck y'all said? It was just like, I'm just like, come on. It don't look, man. As a member of a gang, nobody's supposed to ever tell you, like, especially like other people, like, oh, you're not real, you're not a real Crip, or you're not a real this. Without you fighting for your shit. You feel me?
Yeah.
Of course, like, I mean, in the moment you should at least fight, but eventually you're not gonna keep jacking that shit if they're not fucking with you, right? That's dumb. But I just felt like when they was told that, I just wanted to hear what was their response.
Yeah.
And I was like, and what did y'all do? What did y'all say?
Yeah.
And their response just said it all. They was like, nigga,
yeah.
I feel like the muscle was in jail. The muscle was in jail and the body just fell apart. Like,
yeah.
It was just like, I was like, damn, these motherfuckers didn't even fight for it for our shit. Like,
yeah.
So I'm just like, I was cool with it.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm just seeing everything unfold, bro. Like, I'm just like, everybody folding.
So you never had to get out. You got kicked out.
Basically, I don't like that term, but you know what I'm saying. But basically, I got let go, which was the best decision that ever happened.
That was good for you because you didn't go to the tattoo party.
Yeah,
so you had no Crip affiliated tattoos, and the Crips dropped you. Yeah, so then now you're just yourself in prison.
But it doesn't really work like that.
Doesn't work that way.
Because you done shit to Bloods.
Yeah.
And when I came to jail, I was like, I'm Crip. Like the house I was in, people knew I was Crip. So it was just kind of like, and then sometimes you see Bloods from the town, you Crip. Like people to this day, they still view me as that Crip dude, right?
Yeah.
I remember the first time. I remember I was afraid of even wearing blue, not because I was fearful.
Yeah.
But I just didn't even want people to be like, "Oh, you back?"
Yeah.
And I swear to God, the first time I wore blue, they was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Back on your shit, huh? That blue look nice. That thing look good.
I'm just like, that clue.
Yeah, you funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like, I just didn't want to be associated with the bullshit.
Yeah.
My man's, however, he could not, I felt like Crip was his identity. It wasn't mine. Because I was a lone wolf before that. Not saying that he wasn't.
Yeah.
But I just felt like, I don't need this shit. I was the one that was out there recruiting. I was the one that was the reason why because people saw me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I gave them the courage and the valor to want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So did you fight a lot in the beginning? Were like really angry? Like how were the first, because you were in Rikers 2 years.
I was in Rikers here like 33 months.
Okay. So in
adolescence, I had a few situations in adolescence. And I feel like God protected me for the most part. So I didn't really get into a lot of things. When I got to adults, I got into a few fights. I didn't really document how many situations I got into. But I got into situations here and there. I did box time.
Yeah.
The longest stint I did altogether was like 90 days.
In the box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how's being in, like, is it literally like a box? Or
yeah, definitely it's like a box. It'll be
you got a window?
Yeah, you got a window. It'll probably be
like above you in the sky, or it's like
you see like this part, like from here, that whole little corner right there. Like it will be like, this will be like the box.
Yeah.
So you got a sink in there, you got your toilet, you get a window, get a little fake mirror, and that's about it. And you just get a bed. And then you just in there all day. But people be talking through the vent.
Yeah.
I even learned how to play chess in the box. Well, I didn't learn how to play chess in the box, but I've been playing chess on the street. But I learned how to play chess in the box, meaning in jail. I never did that before in jail till I got to the box.
Yeah.
And the dude told me to draw a chessboard and make the pieces. And then you play like, the chessboard has letters. and numbers on the side.
Yeah.
So he'll be like G5. So moving horse to G5.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person will have a board too. And you get creative when you're in there, man. So
yeah.
I was talking to some people, whoever I had on the vent that we used to talk.
You never knew who you were talking to.
I never seen them. Sometimes you never see them.
Wow.
So I'm talking to people. And then at one point I was in the box with a whole bunch of dudes from the town, from like uptown. Like,
yeah.
So I'm in there like, yo. So we talking across the, bro. It just got, I even was in the box with dudes that I never knew from my hood that were the same set as me that I never knew because they got locked up years prior to me. And I pushed the paperwork through them. So I met some official dudes that were insane.
What does it mean to push the paperwork?
Meaning I gave them the paperwork. They were my link to communicating with the rest of the set. Because everybody was just running around with the false narrative that they didn't even tell people that I shot this dude because he told. They told them I shot him over a dirt bike. Yeah. So a lot of people had this misconception that I shot him over a dirt bike. Yeah. They didn't even know that I shot him because he told. But then when the truth came out, they still didn't give a fuck. They didn't do nothing. They was afraid of him.
So it seems like you didn't learn your lesson in the box.
What you mean?
Like you seem like you're having a good time in the box.
Oh, I definitely did. When I came out the box, I was a whole different man.
Yeah.
It's funny because around this time when I went to the box, I was already Muslim. And I had a Muslim brother. He used to tell me some shit. He used to be like, sometimes I don't know if you're a Muslim or you're a Crip. Mind you, I wasn't Crip. But the thing is, jail is segregated. And the house I was in, there was 2 day rooms. So they had the Spanish day room and then they had the black day room. Now, because I was hanging out with black people, it seemed like I was hanging out with the Crips because the Crips tend to be black. Yeah. The Spanish day room tend to be the Patrias because it was mainly Dominicans or whatever Spanish gang, right? Yeah. So it looked as though I was hanging out with the Crips, but in reality, I'm just hanging out with black people. Yeah. You feel me? But yeah, but when I came out the box, I just kind of like, I disassociated myself because I didn't want, even though the brother was kind of joking, but he was kind of serious too. Yeah. I didn't want to be associated. And the biggest thing was one time this folk kid, I said this in my channel, this folk kid, he had a problem with a Muslim and he was like, he was saying that he was gonna cut him. And I was just like, bro, you're not cutting my brother, you bugging. So, we got into like words. It never got crazy because that was my man's. Yeah. But I was like, that just told me like, bro, you gotta make I felt like I did make a clear line that day. Like I was like, bro, I'm Muslim, you bugging. I'm Muslim, yeah. So yeah, after that, when I came out, after those 90 days, I reflected a lot. Yeah. I heard a lot of conversations with my mom. What are like the misconceptions of people turning Muslim in jail? A lot of times people say that they are afraid, that they do it because they're scared, for protection, stuff like that. A lot of times people that usually got like rape charges do it. A lot of times Crips do it. Some Bloods do it too. I seen Kings do it. A lot of people do it, right? But the hard thing is some people don't know if you're genuine or if you're afraid. And I think but the misconception, they don't care. They don't be caring to find out if you're genuine. They just off the rip. When people hear you turn Muslim in jail, they just be like, they just be looking at you funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then they watch you. They watch you to see if you pray. To see you watch you to see if how many times do you pray a day? 5 times. I'm supposed to pray 5 times a day. Okay. So you have to pray soon, or? I don't even know what time because my phone is away. But you have like time periods. Okay, time periods. Yeah. So dealing with women on the outside, you said like you should just forget them. Like, if you got a girlfriend, she's good as gone. Like, yeah, when you locked up, man, you just I told my girl like, yeah, man. See, I seen it all, man. I seen dudes break phones behind their girlfriends. I seen dudes try to control the coochie from jail. Yeah. It never works. Yeah. I told you to be home at this time. Like, they'll call that girl, she be out. They like, you can't control a girl from I couldn't imagine being locked up with like the kind of women that are around nowadays. What, I lose my fucking mind, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. I seen dudes do too much, man. I seen dudes break phones. I seen dudes depressed. I seen dudes just like get off the phone, fight somebody. Yeah. Like, so I realized like I don't want that to be me. So I told my girl like, I'm gonna go. And girls, they're emotional and they're like, no, like I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna ride. And I'm like, I already know how this shit end. Yeah. Like, just leave now. Yeah. Just go. So yeah, I ended up leaving my girl. She would tell a different story. Yeah. Do you ever see her again? Yeah, I did. But I ended up leaving her. I remember I sent her pictures back. Did she let you hit when you came home? She tried to, but I didn't want it. Plus, I was Muslim. Okay. So when I came home, she thought it was a game. So I remember I actually called her before I got released, and she was like, "Yo, I was just thinking about you. They always just thinking about you." Yeah, yeah, yeah. Bullshit.
How many? I mean, you were away 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot happened in 7 years, bro.
Yeah, so she had.
Did you have kids? Oh damn, she had kids. I knew that shit. She
had a kid and all that. I remember I wowed her out one of my first stints in the box because she had rolled me some whole shit. I'm not even gonna get into it. She Honduran too, by the way.
Word, but I'm scared of Hondurans because I don't know we cousins and nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So I be like, I be fake like,
that's real shit too.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's part of how.
But them niggas be jacking that shit. That's why Honduran niggas is weirdos too.
No, that's
them niggas be having kids with their first cousins and shit like that.
That's not weird. It's not weird to sleep with your cousin. I think that like we just, and this just,
it's not weird to sleep. Hold on. All right, let me let you finish.
I think we're so removed from our cultural background that we even look at a man having multiple wives as taboo. Yeah, because we are so westernized, right? But from eons, bro, people have been sleeping with their cousins. Might not be your first cousin, right? But people have been marrying their cousin, their third, fourth cousins. Like, people have been doing that for a long time, bro. Yeah. That's not something new. But today we look at it like, ew. We look at arranged marriages like disgusting. This is why people are not staying together. Your father is supposed to pick your husband. You know what I'm saying? Because women don't know how to vet. I don't care how mad they get. Yeah. You don't know how to pick a man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times your standards are rooted in fantasy, and you fall in love with what you hear. So guys is always lying. They romance you. They give you the sweet nothings. You fall for it. Most of these women got the same story. Yeah, he sweet talked them. They gave up the box. He out, or maybe he stood there for a little bit, got whatever he got, and then he out. Why is it that most of y'all got the same stories? Yeah, and then you start to see a pattern because your pops wasn't home. You don't know what a real man looks like. Yeah, so you come up with your own definition. Yeah. You come up with what you believe a real man is, right? Yeah. And then you don't know how to pick him. So because you don't know how to pick him, you keep making the same poor choices. Yeah. So that's what I mean by cousins. I don't mean that like I'm gonna go sleep with the daughter of my aunt. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that like we just be looking at some of those situations like so taboo because we are so westernized, bro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I'm still staying away from my cousins.
Yeah, I get you. But look, so boom. So I come home and I told her, because I was like, yeah, I'm Muslim now. You know, I'm living differently. And she was just like, so if I throw it at you, you ain't going to catch it? I said, no. She thought it was a game. A lot of women also are not used to meeting men who have sexual discipline. Yeah. Right? So she, she was like, man, you just did time. Yeah. I specifically went to see her just so I could show her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So you have to be married to have sex?
Yeah, technically, yeah. Yeah, technically.
So are you married?
Nah.
When was the last time you had sex?
I'm gonna plead the fifth, man.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna plead the fifth.
I mean, a long time ago, so we can just put it at that.
I'm gonna plead the fifth, man. But yeah, technically, so when I came out, I went to this girl house, and I remember she was like rubbing my beard. My beard was a little smaller back then. She was she just had that look in her eye, you know what I'm saying? She was smoking or whatever she was doing. And I remember she was just like, she just had that look, and I was just like, yo, I'm not sleeping with you. And she was just like nobody want to sleep with you anyway. Like, she just got a little crazy.
She was tight, bro.
She was like, you act like
she's fertile too, so I'm glad you stood away from her, bro.
She was like, you act like your dick made out of gold, like talking crazy, right? She started talking all that shit. And I was just like, nah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but the point was like, like, I felt like it felt good, man. It felt good to like tell her no. It felt good to it feels good genuinely to tell women no, because they're not used to getting the no, especially when it comes to sex.
So you're not really hollering at no girls, like, or like, are you dating? Like, what's your situation like?
I don't. It takes a lot for a woman to interest me, honestly. Like, I think that like some women are beautiful, but then it's like when they start talking, you just realize, like, I don't even want to engage in that. And it's not like, and I'm not chasing coochie, so it's like, some guys put up with the bird brain stuff because they're chasing
bird brain. The bird brain.
They're chasing the numbers. I just think like when you get to a certain age, if you still chasing numbers, we did that shit when we was teenagers. Yeah. We was trying to fuck as many girls we could fuck. Yeah. If you still doing that in your 30s, bro, late 20s.
Yo, don't talk about my brothers like that. Yo, they gonna hate me with
this. Real shit though. But if you still caught up with like numbers count, and you're trying to like just add a number to like, it's like, bro, I don't even be trying to entertain these girls, bro. Honestly, like I'd rather just pay for it if I'm gonna like, but I don't do that, right? That's not my vibe. Like, I just feel like even if I pay for it, it's not even gonna be worth my money because I might not even be into it like that.
Yeah.
And I don't drink or smoke, so it's like, you know, when you're intoxicated, you might be a little more prone to make stupid choices. So yeah, so I be like very disciplined to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But not saying that I don't find women attractive, but like, yeah, like I just feel like a lot of the women today, like you said, they're being raised by music, they're being raised by memes, Justin Boy and Niggas Be Broke and like all of these pages, the Shade Room. I like women are literally taking advice from these pages. Yeah. Right. And they're fucking up their relationships. Yeah. And they're also taking advice from their bitter baby mama friends. Yeah. Right.
It's a fact.
So the whole point is when you look at the scope, when you look at this whole wave of where women are getting their therapy, right? Yeah. Social media, where they getting their standards of beauty from, social media. Yeah. Where they getting their counseling, where they getting everything from, education. They're getting everything from social media. It's like you start to see like, why you think a lot of them quote the same shit, right? Because they all like go to the same academy. Yeah. So when you notice that, you just kind of like get turned off, bro. Yeah. Where, so I just chilling.
I'm gonna quote a couple things before we get out of here, but there's a couple things that you said, like watching your shows that resonated with me, and I wanted you to expound on it a little bit. So he says, when you're hurting, you bleed on everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And what I meant by that is that like people who have severe trauma and you're wounded, right? And when you don't attend to your wound, you're gonna bleed out. Yeah. And you're gonna die, right? And if you don't die and it managed to close on its own, right, you still didn't tend to it. So your scab is not even gonna look pretty. Because you didn't, and this is all an analogy, right? Yeah. When you don't work on your wound, it's not gonna heal properly. Yeah. And when it doesn't heal properly, you leave an ugly scar. Yeah. Right? And what happens is you always feel that ugly scar, right? And people always see it. So that becomes your attitude. That becomes your behavior. People always see, even though if people can't pinpoint that it's connected to some trauma or some wound or some hurt, you see the ugly scar, right? In your behavior, your attitude, the way you move. So because that attitude is there, you're bleeding on people because you never really attended to that wound the way you were supposed to.
One of the things you said was,
man, I'm about to go crazy after this.
Why did I just lose it? So you said we're all the same people living in the hood, fucked up.
Yeah, I think like when you think I think one of the books that changed my mind drastically was the Communist Manifesto. You know what I'm saying? And what it helped me realize was, and also studying from the Black Panther Party, what it helped me realize was that most of our revolutionary heroes, they were Marxists. Yeah. Right? They believed in Karl Marx ideology. Yeah. And I think like the only way for us to be free is to get the foot off our necks, right? From the 1% or the people who control. And I think that Black people have this idea that everybody that's white is living good. Yeah. And got their foot on their necks, and that's not the truth. Yeah. And when I tell Black people, there's more poor whites than Blacks. Yeah. They be like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I'm like, yo, like, you obviously haven't seen a white ghetto. Yeah. You obviously don't know white people because a lot of us live in New York City. Yeah. And there's no poor whites in New York City. Yeah. Right? Now, you might see some in Long Island. Long Island's not part of New York City. But even Long Island, it's not like, you know,
Long Island's like that.
It's not no poor place. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you go upstate New York, you're going to see those people. So my whole thing is we're all the same people, meaning that to the rich, they don't care. They will oppress whites. They will oppress yellows, reds, brown, as long as they get their slice of the pie. Yeah. So if we stop looking at race is just a byproduct of capitalism. Yeah. So if we stop being distracted with the race, we can see like, yo, there's all shades of people living in deplorable conditions while the 1% monopolizes and makes money off everything. Moms and pop stores is going down. Like everybody is buying everything. Bill Gates is buying mad farmland. Like if you really think about Disney, only 6 companies own all of media. Yeah. If you really think about it, it's big monopolies that own everything. While we sitting here arguing about tribe and race. Yeah. They just
and the Knicks.
They just keep getting money off of us, right? Yeah. They keep us fighting and they keep us distracted. So if we was to understand, like, yo, we all suffering from the same people, meaning like we all living in fucked up situations, and these are the people that are the problem, bro, we'll be mad. We'll fuck shit up. That's why they work so hard to keep us distracted.
Absolutely. One of the last things I'm gonna bring up, it says, if I ever did something to you, or ever hurt you, or ever hurt somebody, it's some gang shit. And hopefully we can move past it and do something different.
Yeah. You ever seen the movie Terminator?
I think so.
Okay. So in the movie Terminator, I remember there was a point where Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? They rewired his whole whatever. His mission was, he had one mission.
Yeah.
And they did this in a few movies, right? But the whole point is this. Let's just use the movie that they used him to go save John Connor. That was his mission. They send him back to the past or whatever to go save this dude that was going to be a revolutionary leader of the resistance. The point is this. He had a mission and he was wired a certain way.
Yeah.
And then one of the other Terminators that was fighting against him trying to kill, because, you know, it's always one that gets sent to kill and the other one gets sent to save.
Yeah.
So the other one, the bad one, rewired his wiring for him to now try to kill the person that he was sent to save.
Yeah.
So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that when you are young and you are wired a certain way, you are wired to believe these are your enemies.
Yeah.
You are wired, not saying that I didn't witness the Bloods do certain shit, but the whole thing is this. You are wired to believe you can't see again that it's a monopoly. You can't see that you're a byproduct of a bigger game. You can't see that. You only see the other dudes wearing red. You only see the other dudes wearing blue. You only see the Spanish. You only see the Jamaican. You only see the black. You only see the this. You only see race, tribe, color. It's all you see because you are wired that way. So that means is when your mind is rewired or reverted, or you kind of like change your perspective and the narrative, I think that it's too much to ask, right? Because sometimes you did something to people.
Yeah.
And I think people can't let that shit go.
Yeah.
But I think if you could look at it that way, if you could be like, I know you wasn't operating, just like the Terminator, right? He wasn't operating off his own shit. You rewired his shit. Yeah. So if we could look at it that way and be like, and it's hard when it's lost. It's hard when you kill somebody. It's hard when you took somebody from somebody to forgive you. And this is why Charleston White always talk about this, right? He said the parents of the kid he killed forgave him.
Yeah.
And he said after that he stopped being Crip.
Yeah.
You know, so I use it in the same sense, not that exactly, but the example, I all of that together, just to say that, like, sometimes it's hard to understand it. I get it. So I don't expect forgiveness. But if we could look at it like, you know what? I know you wasn't operating of your own shit. You was operating of the narrative. It's just like if the water system is filthy in our neighborhoods, can you be mad at somebody that's taking a shower with dirty water and not being clean? Yeah. No, you can't really be mad at them. We don't control the water system, the pipes and all of that, right? Yeah. So, and like I said, it's not easy. It's hard. But I have definitely overlooked certain people that have done stuff to me. Yeah. I have seen people that have jumped me. I have seen people that have shot at me. Maybe I will have a different response if they actually did hit me. Yeah. Right. But I think that for me to be able to let go of some of those things, just kind of like as a testament of like me trying to move forward, trying to build something different.
But has any of it ever come back to you?
Not necessarily. I think I'm protected also, you know, God protects me. But, you know, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And, you know, your family be doing little protection shit too. You know how that shit, you know how that shit go. So, you know, so I think, again, everything happens through God. I think like I'm living on borrowed time. I think I was supposed to be going a long time ago. But I think God kind of like, you know, he got a plan for me, and I don't know what the plan is, but I'm gonna just try to touch as many people I could touch, and like just use my life as a testament. That this shit ain't what you want, man.
Yeah. What's the message to your younger self?
Message to my younger self, man. Listen to your mom, man. Like, moms be fucking knowing, bro. Like, I sat in the box and I just thought about all the times my mom told me, those dudes you think is your friends, they ain't your friends. She used to tell me that shit all the time. Those people you think is your friends, they not your friends. She used to tell me all that shit all the time. And when I was in prison, I thought about that shit. Like, damn, like I was sacrificing my life for some of these dudes. So that one thing I would tell myself is like, listen to your mom, man. Like a lot of times, even though we didn't understand each other, we didn't see each other eye to eye because I was a man growing up in America and she was a woman. I think that like she still had a lot of wisdom that I could have listened to, and I didn't because I think I know it all. We think we know it all as teenagers.
Yeah.
So I would tell myself like, yeah, like stick to yourself, man. Like, but I think I always have that revolutionary spirit. I still do. I'm still a fighter. That shit's never gonna die. Like some of us just got it in us, and some of us don't.
Yeah.
But listen to your mom, man. Like, listen to your parents, man. Especially when they're guiding you, because some parents tell you to do fucked up shit. But like, if your parents is just telling you certain things, man, it's coming from somewhere. Like, there's some moments that my mom will call me, right? She always tell me be careful. But there was one moment in particular where she was like, yo, be really careful out there. And it was mad weird to me because it was just like, usually she just say it casually. But one day in particular, she was just like, yo, be really careful out there. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I listen to my mom, bro. My mom tell me certain shit, like I'll just be like, all right.
Message to the youth.
Message to the youth is, they say they know experience like your own, like the best experience is your own experience, right? But then they also say like a wise man like knows how to use the lessons and experience of others, right? And that's something that we probably should master. At the same time, we're still gonna have to make our own mistakes, right?
Yeah.
But I also think that like to them, I try not to tell the youth a lot, right? I think like you gotta let them make their own mistakes. But if it's something I could tell them, I would just tell them to like really sit here and think about, is the lifestyle that they live in bringing them benefit or is it bringing them harm, right? And of course they can't. That's probably like a loaded.
Yeah.
They can't
decipher.
They thinking about fun, right? They thinking about fun and they thinking about, just doing certain things. But I just think that like, I think just look at the life of the people that have lived it, man. Look at the life of a lot of people who have been doing what you was doing. Just look at it. And I want you to look at it. I want you to think about it. And I want you to be like, ask yourself if that's really what you want. And if that's really what you want, go ahead.
Yeah.
And if that's not really what you want, then you should stop, while you're ahead. And that's all I can say. Like, you got to make your own decisions. But if you look at the life of somebody that is either dead right now in a wheelchair, in prison, and you're not more, let me tell y'all something. I got to look at all the cameras.
Yeah.
You're not smarter than the people that came before you.
Yes.
And they got more cameras now. They got more intel, more snitches. They paying a lot better to these rats. You know what I'm saying? So you're not gonna outsmart them. You might get away, and the thing that happens is you get away one time, and this is what usually happens with crime, right? You might get away one time. The first time you do a crime, you get those butterflies.
Yeah.
They be crazy. Your palms sweaty, you nervous. But when you get away, you feel good. Then you do it again. You get the butterflies, but not like the first time. By the third time you do it, you won't feel shit, bro. So I want y'all to pay attention to your butterflies, man. Because that's like your soul. That's like the internal part of you talking to you. Don't drown it out with dudes telling you scared. Nah, man, you need to listen to that shit.
Yeah.
The same way your instincts kick in when you're in danger, when you feel like something is not right in a space, you need to listen to that shit and leave and move. Yeah. It doesn't make you a coward. It doesn't make you afraid. So I would tell younger people to listen to their intuitions. That's something that I always listened to when I was young. Mm-hmm. So I will always continue to listen to myself and my intuition.
Absolutely, man. So, we've had an amazing conversation, two Garifuna men from the Bronx, coming together, trying to empower our youth, empower our people, empower our community. Thank you so much for your time, your effort, your energy today, your wisdom, your stories, being vulnerable enough to share everything and your experience. I'm extremely proud of you for turning the page and like you said, you're on borrowed time, but I think you're making the most of your borrowed time. And I think we're going to release this in 2 parts.
Okay.
So I think it's fair to the people, we'll release a half on mine and a half on your platform. So, we can share subscribers and merge our fans. But to those people out there, things do get real. And I think a lot of what goes on out there is a product of our own traumas and normalizing these things. And who are the OGs leading the way? you know, who are the ones manipulating these minds and glorifying all these negative, toxic traits that kind of have flooded, not kind of, but they flooded every hood of America. And every hood in America has the same problem. And when there's poverty, there's violence. It's like peanut butter and jelly, those two things. You know what I'm saying? So definitely shout out Vic Slang Hope, Slang and Hope. Let us know where we can find you. You know, promote everything that you have.
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram. It's babylane02. You can also subscribe to my channel, which is Vic Slang Hope. And I can't really remember my Twitter, but yeah, that's where y'all could mainly get me at. My Instagram, or y'all can follow me or subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, so definitely shout out to my man Rodrigo, No Lily Records, you know, for telling me about you. Literally told me about you last Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I was listening to you on the way all the way home. I think we spoke by like Wednesday evening, Thursday.
Yeah.
And here we are, you know, a week later. You know,
made it happen. You know what I'm saying? You working, man. You working hard, man.
Trying to connect the dots.
Nah, you doing it, man. You're doing it. Don't sell yourself short.
No,
it's something that I do too. I try to be modest, man.
Yeah, no, thank you.
You just got to be real. Like when you're doing it, you're doing it.
Yeah,
nah. There's a lot of people that's not.
Yeah, I mean, you know, God put me here to serve. Yeah. So I'm definitely serving our community in a positive way, shedding light. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you guys like, subscribe, comment, look for his channel, and, you know, look for more hope. Appreciate it,
definitely. All right.